Hey everyone, welcome to the Acrobatic Arts Podcast. I'm Loren, and I will be interviewing some of the top leaders and innovators from the dance and acrobatic industry. If you are a teacher, performer, student, or a lifelong learner like myself, you are sure to find these episodes intriguing and full of inspiration. Acrobatic Arts is passionate about providing current and relevant information for everyone. So please, sit back and enjoy as we share our passion with you and the world. Have you ever been concerned about someone's body composition but didn't know how or when to approach the subject? Today we have Jasmine Challis, and she is going to provide her professional opinion on this topic.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Challis. I'm a registered dietitian and nutritionist from the UK, and I'm a registered sports nutritionist as well. Right now we're going to be looking at how does the dance teacher approach the issue of the student whose body composition is of concern. And this is a topic that really has to be approached very delicately. And I think as a teacher, it is really important that you do think about what you feel comfortable doing. And that's going to very much depend on your skills and your experience. But be very careful. I think you're all aware this is a very sensitive issue, and it can be the precipitating factor in triggering an eating disorder. You would not be responsible for it, but it is possible to contribute through it by language. So I think it's a really, really difficult issue to approach. If you have a student where you're concerned that either their body fat is too low or their body muscle is too low, then it's going to depend on their age to start with. Because if they're a child, you absolutely have to decide if you're going to have a conversation with the parent. And I think I would also say practically, take a look at the family. Are you looking at a family where their body composition is very light? Is that their natural genetic tendency? And therefore, is it that the dancer will always look very light but could actually be strong? Or is it that actually the dancer isn't fulfilling their potential? And then I would just have an inquiry, and if that dancer is struggling in classes and isn't able to have the strength and the energy that you're expecting, I think approaching in a gentle way, not with the child present, but talking to the parents and just saying, I'm a little concerned that your child is struggling to match the energy levels of the others in the class, and I'm just wondering if there's anything that you can think of that might be contributing. And then you could follow that up into, are they eating regularly? It may be that they're dashing straight to an after-school class and they didn't eat much for lunch, and they're actually just flagging from lack of fuel. So there may be something really simple that the parent hasn't thought of, and that a little bit of very basic information, they need to have a healthy, nutritious snack, they need to have some fruit and a sandwich, or a small part of a meal, something probably in the car, between school and the class, just to top up their energy levels. Are they drinking during the day? It can be as basic as if they're worried about using the bathroom at school, then maybe they won't drink much, and that's really going to impact on energy levels. So there can be many, many different factors that are affecting this. And starting with open questions, I have a concern about this. Do you have any thoughts on that to the parent? Would be a really good way to start. Tackling the student where their body fat is above that where it's going to be helpful for their training is a really difficult issue again. The underweight student may have an eating disorder, and if that happens, you need to approach constructive support as well. I just need to add that in, and that would be asking them to see their primary care physician in the first instance, their GP in the UK. If you have a child, as I said, whose body fat is higher than is going to be helpful for them to be able to actually do the dance moves, then that has to be approached so sensitively. The first question is it actually a problem? There may be an aesthetic issue. Is that your role to actually intervene? And how do you intervene? And those are really difficult questions. And I think the more debate that can occur within the group of teachers, the better, because you may well find some good practice that has worked, and also some things to avoid. Even just asking people, what did you find helpful, what wasn't helpful. I think, again, if you are talking about a child who comes from a family where everybody is significantly overweight, then actually how to approach that's going to be difficult, because you're probably looking at a combination of maybe genetics but also family eating habits. And is it your role to try and change those? It may be as the child actually gets older, and it is going to depend on age, that's going to change. And if the child is just a little bit overweight compared with their peers, quite often that may well settle out with a growth spurt. And it may be just important to just take an observing eye. What are they bringing with them if they're coming to classes and bringing food with them? And is there a message that you need to give out to all of your students about healthy eating? Generally, and thinking about snacks. Nobody's going to need a snack if they're only doing an hour's class to an hour and a half's class and then they're going home again, providing they're eating during the day. And I think a lot of parents can become very anxious that their child's going to be hungry and almost provide too much food. So really spending some time, and I can't emphasize that enough, this is not an area to rush into. This is really an area where you need to reflect, start some conversations with colleagues, take a look if you have concerns about your dancer, look at the family, try and get a sense of how the family eating habits are, and then if actually it is interfering with their ability to perform the dance moves that you're looking for, then it's taking the parent to one side, unless you're talking about at least a 16-plus-year-old, when you'd probably you'd want the parent present, and actually saying, I am concerned, and suggesting that they get support from a registered dietitian, because it is not going to be appropriate for the teacher to be issuing nutritional advice unless they're a registered nutritionist. So I think supporting healthy eating is something that you can do. You can get posters. You could get posters to put up around the studio if it's your own space, promoting healthy eating messages and encouraging healthy snacks, and actually potentially ask for an RD to come in and do a talk. And yes, you would need to find some money to pay for that, but maybe join up with another studio, maybe see if you can get an event, maybe you can get event for parents to come in. Parents are really motivated for their children, aren't they? So actually trying to get something that's going to be supportive from a dietitian, registered dietitian or nutritionist who has expertise in this area would be really useful and mean that you can do something constructive. So this is really be careful how you approach this whole issue. You don't know what is going on for that particular dancer. You don't know what you're going to find out, and approach it very much step by step. If you have a dancer who's visibly losing weight very fast, I think you absolutely need to intervene quickly. Raise your concerns, because sometimes the parents are waiting for you to actually intervene. They think, well, the dance teacher's not seeing anything or saying anything, so it's not a problem. So if you have a dancer who's dropping weight fast, then I would certainly say it's really important to just raise your concerns and suggest they look for help. If you have a dancer who is at the higher end of the body weight range and is struggling with the movements, it needs to be approached very sensitively and very diplomatically, and in a step-by-step, gathering information before you take any action. Very difficult topic, and I just think you need to keep within your own comfort zone. Good luck.
Thank you for caring and sharing, Jasmine Challis. The compassion that you show for dancers, teachers, and parents when talking about body composition is very much appreciated. Thanks for listening, everyone, and have a great day.